You are listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Football Language podcast for learners of English who love the beautiful game of football. My name is Damien and first of all I would like to apologise for the delay in this podcast. I have been away in the east of England and was unable to record the show, so apologies for that. As I said, I was in the east of England where the weather was beautiful, a real winter's day, so although it was cold, we had blue skies and bright sunshine. What is the weather like where you are? And I wonder what the weather is like in Tokyo, where the other member of the Learn English Through Football team, Damon, is based. How are things, Damon?
Hi, Damien. Not bad weather-wise. It's chilly, but that's because it's winter and a bit cloudy and sunny. So yes, not bad. Football-wise, on the other hand, I'm in shock. Liverpool were beaten yet again midweek by an average PSV side. Not only beaten, but hammered 4-1 at home. After a 3-0 loss to Nottingham Forest at home, 9 defeats in 12 games. Football can be tough sometimes. People are asking, slot in or slot out? Should the manager be sacked? I'm still in the slot in camp, but a loss this weekend at West Ham and another when Sunderland visit Liverpool would make me think very hard about slot. Anyway, that's enough about me and my team. How are you? And what's on the show?
I'm good, but my team Tottenham are also on a bad run of form after yet another home defeat, this time against Fulham. There is pressure on our new manager, Thomas Frank, and a lot of Tottenham fans are not happy.
Hi, my name's David. I'm from London and I'm an Arsenal fan, and you're listening to languagecaster.com.
On today's show, we are going to focus on the Copa Libertadores final that took place this weekend in Lima, the capital of Peru. That's between Flamengo and Palmeiras. And we'll be looking at phrases to describe a headed goal from that game, including flying header and rose the highest. We will also look back at our predictions. We had 2 big derbies in Europe, including a top-of-the-table clash in England between Arsenal and Chelsea, and the Seville derby between Sevilla and Betis.
您正在收听通过足球学习英语播客。
Right, that message we just heard was in Chinese. And as always, we will have some more stingers or messages throughout the show in different languages. How many will you be able to recognize? We'll let you know the languages at the end of the show.
Hola a todos, estáis escuchando languagecaster.com.
Right, the main focus of our football language podcast this week comes from the final of the Copa Libertadores, and in particular we are going to look at language to describe Flamengo's winning goal, which was scored by Brazilian international Danilo. He scored with a wonderful header midway through the second half from a corner when he was left unmarked by the Palmeiras defence. He jumped higher than anyone else to head the ball into the net, and we can say that he rose highest in the penalty area when he scored with that header. Now, we have looked at many phrases on our site here at Learn English Through Football that describe headed goals in the past, including towering header, unstoppable header, to plant a header, glancing header, and a looping header. I think we could use towering header to describe Danilo's goal, as this suggests that he jumped higher than anyone else to score, while we could also use unstoppable header and bullet header, as his header was so strong that the keeper had no chance. Another way of describing this winning header is flying header, as Danilo had jumped higher than the other players to reach the ball and score. It seems that he was almost flying. Okay, that is an exaggeration, but it is a wonderful way of describing a wonderful goal. A flying header would mean that the player is jumping and or diving towards the ball, and a really famous example of this kind of goal is Robin van Persie's against Spain in the 2014 World Cup match. He flew through the air to then loop the ball over the Spanish keeper. Danilo's was slightly different in that he headed the ball down into the net. Here are a couple of examples that described Danilo's winning goal. Number 1. Most will only recall one, the flying header from Danilo meeting Giorgio de Arrascaeta's corner that flew inside the far corner and won the game. And that was from ESPN. Number 2, from the BBC, Danilo rose highest from a corner to head into the bottom corner in the 67th minute as Felipe Luis's side emerged victorious. And yes, well done to Flamengo, who have won their 4th continental title. Congratulations.
Vous écoutez languagecaster.com.
Okay, it's time for predictions, and this week we had 3 big games to predict. But before we do that, we'd like to say hello to a group from an English school in Brazil who gave us their predictions from some previous Brasileiro matches. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. So thank you so much to Davi, Jose and Stella for the predictions, and apologies for only catching up now. Now here's Damon with his predictions for the Libertadores final, Palmeiras versus Flamengo. He also has a Premier League clash between Chelsea and Arsenal, and a La Liga match that sees Sevilla hosting Betis.
Thanks, Damien. Well, let's start with the big game in South America, the all-Brazilian CONMEBOL Libertadores final, Palmeiras versus Flamengo. Both teams have a strong record in this competition, especially in the last 6 years, with 3 titles each and 2 each in the last 6 years. They're also both doing well this season, with Flamengo top of the league and Palmeiras in second. So on paper, these two are evenly matched. I'm going for a 1-1 draw and a win for Palmeiras on penalties. They had to overcome River Plate in the quarterfinals and nearly didn't make it past LDU Quito, overcoming a 3-0 first leg loss to win the second 4-0. That kind of run makes me think that they have their name on the cup.
Not quite right, Damon. Palmeiras sat really deep for most of the game and didn't really threaten Flamengo's goal until they had gone behind to that flying header from Danilo. So 1-0 to Flamengo there. I thought it would be a draw. Wrong again for me.
The next match is a domestic heavyweight clash in the Premier League, with high-flying Chelsea and Arsenal meeting in a London derby. These teams are also top of the table, with Arsenal in top spot, and are therefore title contenders. We talked about derbies in London last week before the North London derby. Arsenal won that one comfortably, but that was at home to an inconsistent Tottenham. Chelsea are a different kettle of fish. They are a different team to Tottenham and have hit some great form recently, with a 3-0 win over Barcelona in the Champions League being a highlight. I reckon Chelsea will give it a good go, but Arsenal will take control of the title race with a 1-0 away win.
Well, I thought this would be a feisty affair. That's a game with lots of cards, maybe even some red ones. So I was right there, as Arsenal had 6 yellows and Chelsea a red. I also felt that Arsenal would have too much experience and thought they would run out 2-0 winners. So I was wrong there. It was a 1-1 draw.
Our third match is also a big one, the Seville derby. We said that Chelsea versus Arsenal is a London derby, but this is the real deal. Sevilla are not in the best of form, so the pressure will be on them in front of their home fans. In contrast, Betis sit 5 places above Sevilla in the table and have only 1 defeat in the last 6 La Liga games. Sorry, Sevilla, but I think this will be another 1-0 away win, and Betis will claim bragging rights.
Well, I thought the Seville derby would end in a 1-1 draw, but Damon was right, and Betis claimed those bragging rights, and they won easily in the end 2-0.
Você está escutando languagecaster.com.
Now, Damon used the phrase "I reckon" when predicting the results of the Chelsea versus Arsenal game. And this phrase means that he thinks or has a strong feeling that something will happen. So we both reckoned that Arsenal would win against Chelsea. How about practicing your predictions language with us? What do you think will happen in any games that you're watching this week? What do you reckon will happen? Let us know by coming along to our site or any of our social media sites and leaving a comment. You can also come along to our forum and post a comment there too. It's a really nice way to practice some of your writing, and you can leave a prediction voice note as well. We'd love to hear from you.
Tá tú a géisteacht le languagecaster.com.
And of course, don't forget we have a huge glossary of football terms with hundreds of expressions, phrases, and cliches about the beautiful game of football. And if you want to send in any new words that you have heard, again, just drop us a line.
Merhaba beyler, ben Türkiye'den Mert. Şu anda Languagecaster dinliyorsunuz. Sevgiler.
Yes, you are listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast, and that message was in Turkish. We also heard Irish, Italian, French, German, Spanish, also Polish, and a fan from Brazil. Well done if you got any of those correct. And remember, you can add a message by sending us a recording for the Learn English Through Football podcast. We would love to hear from you.
Właśnie słuchasz languagecaster.com.
Right, let us know if you hear or see any of the phrases or words that we have talked about on this week's show, including flying header. How would you say that phrase, for example, in another language that you know? Enjoy all the football this week. We'll be back soon with another weekly football expression, and we'd really appreciate it, as Damon has said, if you could share our site with your friends and give us a like on your favorite podcast platform. Enjoy all the football this week. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Ta-ra!